The Chicago Bulls took an ugly loss versus the New Orleans Pelicans last night. And after that victory, we had to revisit some comments from Nikola Vucevic, and what he said was justified by that performance that the Chicago Bulls put on last night. Y'all know we're going to talk about it, break it all down, but you got to hear the music first.
Cognac, gang.
Shot Bulls podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on today's daily episode. So if you're tuned in, locked in, love talking Bulls basketball, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. And I know sometimes talking Bulls basketball, it can give you a headache. So I understand where you guys are coming from. But hey, the Chicago Bulls, they faced off versus the New Orleans Pelicans yesterday and gave up 143 points and lost by 13. So they only put up 130 to a team that, when the Bulls came into this game, only had 2 wins on the season and did not necessarily perform up until last night. And it seems like the Chicago Bulls, they were feeling themselves for some reason. And after that close win the other day versus the Washington Wizards, Nikola Vucevic had some words and criticized how the team has been treating these games and pretty much called out the team. It didn't mince words, if we keeping it real. If you remember correctly, if you don't, I got the quote right here. After that win, Nikola Vucevic was interviewed by KC Johnson, and he said this: for 3 quarters or whatever, we were very soft. Crazy way to say it, right? We gave no resistance. We didn't do anything that we talked about. For 3 quarters or whatever, we were soft. And then he said, it's not sustainable. It's pretty much not sustainable. And that's how the Bulls should be treating this situation right here. When you come in, and we can look at the coaching and how he went out there and said, we're going to go with the small ball lineup, and we're going to start Patrick Williams at center, and we're going to do a bunch of other things that not necessarily make sense. Sit Montes Buzelis in certain stints and whatever. But for what it's worth, the Chicago Bulls, though you see the box score, you see that Kobe White put up 24, Ayo scored 28, and Josh Giddey scored 21. That's not how you're going to win your basketball games. That's one part of it, but there's also another side of basketball to where you have to communicate effectively and play defense. While we always talk about it over here on Shot Bulls podcast, that when you play defense, it has to be a want to thing. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is expecting all these guys to come out there and be elite defenders. But when you become a turnstile for a certain team and you don't come out with the energy required to go out there and win basketball games, you're going to find yourself in tough situations and giving young teams life, and they're just going to lose their mind. They were shooting threes at a crazy clip. And it calls into question when it comes to the coaching standpoint from the Chicago Bulls, because the Chicago Bulls were out rebounded 33-55. So all those second chance points that these guys over here in New Orleans, they was able to do, Bulls gave that up. Rebounding is a team thing as well. Yes, you want the individuals to go out there and gobble up as many rebounds as possible, but it is a team thing as well. And the Chicago Bulls did not have any reinforcement to go out there and grab enough rebounds. And when you lose the rebound battle like this, 55-33, and you turn over the ball 17 times, you don't give yourself a strong chance to win basketball games. It's not to say that we was looking horrible from the 3-point line, because the Chicago Bulls shot 50 total 3-pointers and eclipsed 40% as a team. And then from the field, you shot at 52%. So what is that telling us? We're talking about the dirty stuff and the clean stuff, taking care of the basketball, but also crashing those boards when necessary to get rebounds. And we talk about it. I even throw shade at Nikola Vucevic, but he was 100% right for those comments. You can't go into these games and entire offseason, come into the offseason and prepare for this season and saying we want to improve physicality. We want to show toughness. And they haven't showed any toughness whatsoever in the last few weeks. In the last few weeks, the Chicago Bulls have not displayed an ounce of toughness or physicality on the basketball court. And I know that Isaac Okoro was out of yesterday's game, but damn, is that the determining factor to see if the Chicago Bulls are going to play good defense? Shouldn't be. It goes back to, hey, the personnel that you put on this team, man. I think there's a lot of talented guys on this team, but I think that we're moving into that position to where you're saying to hell with guys that we like. And I'm not going to go out there and just say anything crazy, but there's going to start to be some conversations coming up here soon regarding this team, because though you have some talent on this team, it's just they don't do a lot of things as a team that lets us know that they're not going to be the 10th seed, later this season. Can they be better? Absolutely. Will they be better? That's on the guys. That's on the guys in the locker room, because we're looking at these situations and it's always a game to where they coming out, they're not prepared to play. They allowing a bunch of things to happen, crazy 3-point shots, a bunch of different rebounds and whatnot. And it's not working for the Chicago Bulls. You might have to go out there and make some tough decisions. I'm not ready to go down that road right now, but it's definitely going to cause for conversation, as the Chicago Bulls started off 6-1, and now they end up 9-8. Just one game over 500 after what we feel like they should have been a couple games over 500 at this particular moment, with a lot of games coming up here shortly that are very winnable for the Chicago Bulls. A lot of games coming up here to where the Chicago Bulls could take complete advantage of it and gain some ground and start to gain some confidence. But it's going to be on those guys. You running into a lot of young teams that are going to be, that are not in great positions. But if you don't play well, these teams can start feeling themselves and they can lose their mind and put up points on you if you allow them to, just like you just allowed the New Orleans Pelicans to do so. We're talking about the Charlotte Hornets coming up, the Pacers twice, the Magic, the Nets, and then you go through another tough stretch of teams of Cleveland, Atlanta twice, and Philly, and Milwaukee, and Minnesota. But you have this little stint that's right in front of you to where you can go out there and take advantage of some winnable games instead of having to fight and claw. But you got to take care of business. You have to take care of business. And I think that's what it comes down to. And we can go out there and look at Billy Donovan. And I think that's one thing that we're always going to do. And we're always going to look at the front office. But it has to come down to these players as well. I think nobody is escaping the criticism, at least when it comes to me. Because when we talk to Billy Donovan, why did you start Patrick Williams at center when you could have just ran with Jalen Smith from the beginning if you was going to trot him out there as a center to start the second half? Then another thing with Billy Donovan, I'm looking at Montes Buzelis. Yes, it's cool to reprimand Montes Buzelis, but sometimes let him play through the damn mistakes. Can we let the man play through some mistakes? That's all I want to know. I get it. You get fed up. You say go take a seat on the bench. Cool, I'm with that. But that's not always the solution. Treat his ass from the sideline on the timeout. Hey, Montes, share a few words with him. Send him back out there and see if he can make the corrections right then and right there on the basketball court. See if that can happen. See how effective that can be. And I'm honestly questioning how is Billy Donovan coaching Montes Buzelis on the basketball court is what I really want to know. Because I'm just saying a guy that's you just sticking in a corner and shooting threes. You know what I mean? Like, it's more to it than that. We know Montes Buzelis' handle is not the tightest, but he has moves to where he can get downhill and maybe draw a couple fouls to help this basketball team. So is it him or is it the coach saying, what? Now we're inserting Kobe White back into this team, and it's not looking as crisp as it once did. And I'm not blaming Kobe White. Don't get that twisted. I'm not blaming Kobe White for coming back to this team, because I think that he can be a good piece for this team. But at the end of the day, you're not seeing guys cut like we once did when we first started this season. You're not seeing the defensive effort that we saw once we started this season. You're not getting guys making good shots or at least getting to the foul line. And I think that that's something that we have to look at and try to correct. Like Zach Collins can't come back fast enough. But damn, does it only take one player to come back and fix everything? No, not for a young team like this. Guys have to be better. Show some toughness. And I know Vooch, look, hey, you said the right things, but your ass not absolved of anything either, buddy. You ain't escaping no criticism either because your Bigfoot ass be back there letting people go around you too. It's everybody. It's all parties, everybody included. It's just it's frustrating. Nobody expected this team to go out there and just go and shock the world. But one thing that we always gonna give credit to or call for is effort. We know this team is young, and I'm really looking at the team and saying that, you know what I'm saying, and looking at the voices. I'm paying close attention to the voices that be. Billy Donovan, you going to the podium and saying we're not talented enough to do this, this, and this. Nikola Vucevic is echoing that sentiment, saying we're not talented enough to not play desperate. You know what I mean? How is that affecting the young guys? And it's no excuse. I'm not trying to, stall him out. But at the end of the day, how is that affecting your young players? And I will say this. These guys got experience. They know what's required, especially guys like Jalen Smith, while you sitting there getting jumpy and happy over a 1-point win over the Washington Wizards when Nikola Vucevic was right in that. But then when you come in and what is the mindset of everybody? I think that when you talk about the mindset of a young team, there has to be somebody to come in and set the tone. Everybody shut the fuck up. Let's go. Everybody lock in. It ain't time to play. It's time to go hoop. Who setting the tone? Supposed to be the veteran, right? Okay, Nikola Vucevic, you showed us. You know what I'm saying? You the old head on that. You wasn't happy with the performance. But what are you saying to these young guys to lock in? And then it comes down to the person, the people themselves. What are you telling yourself to lock into this basketball game? Head coach, what are we doing to lock into these basketball games? Maybe it is just a personnel. Maybe it don't even matter. Maybe there needs to be some reshuffling going on. Maybe. Because what started out to be so good and so shocking, and man, it feels so different. We right back down to earth and it feels all the same. That's the reality. So Nikola Vucevic, he wasn't lying. But your ass ain't escaping no criticism either. Because you could be better, bro. Along with these other guys. That's probably why he still want to get the hell out of here. I don't blame him because we want you gone too. But when you keep it real, we got to call it how we see it and say, hey, you kept it real. I respect it. And let's see how we can respond. And yesterday, they did not respond well. Last night, they did not respond well. They responded horribly by doing the same stuff that has gotten them up into this point so far. So they're not playing well. We'll see what happens. We'll see what transpires and how can we move on. But at the end of the day, it's just not good enough. But hey, that is it for me, y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode, man. Before y'all get up out of here, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well, man. We appreciate y'all. Make sure you always see red, and y'all already know. We're going to catch y'all on the next one for sure. Peace.
Cognac. Gang.